it's plugged. Give me another light. I pushed it down really hard. Where's it in?
I'll go pull it up.
Alright, okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Toasted.
Excuse me. Explain about how you got your name Medicine Eagle. And who gave it to you?
Well,
Actually-
Medicine
actually,
Story
if they-
was there.
If they gave you a name like Medicine Eagle, does that mean you have something to do with healing people at these gatherings? Or they assume that you would have?
Well, let me tell you how I got it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And then you'll have to tell us what you do at gatherings. People ask me that question. What does he do at gatherings?
There's a debate as to whether I do anything in gatherings. That's another whole question, but anyway.
People knew the I Ching, then they know you do it pretty well.
Medicine Story was at Utah, and to give you the situation in Utah was this: that apparently, when we arrived, there were county sheriffs and the Department of Forestry, and a few state troopers, just a few, at this gate kind of place, fence. And you came through this fence on this road, and immediately to your right was this most beautiful, probably 40-acre lake, blue, pristine. We're at 7,000 feet. It's Utah. It's you know, very hot. I'm going to say like 101 or 2. Some women that have never had their tops off ever are like getting third-degree burns. Not third degree, but you know what I'm talking about, like sunburns due to raw. Guys that have never had their asses shown since they were babies to the sun are the color of your jacket on their butts and stuff and can't sit down anymore. And these cops will not let anybody go in the water. And the reason that they won't is that apparently, allegedly, a young man has come through from Illinois and he has grade whatever it is, hepatitis, and he went into the reservoir, and now the people in town's water is infected with this hepatitis, and they just want us out of here. And of course, nobody's going anywhere. The circle's on, the council's on, the drums are playing, but it's only about 850 people. If you read High Times recently, they said that Utah was the lowest ebb in the family, so I feel good that I never knew that until I read it in High Times, but it was the only one that I know of a gathering where it's actually people that were at Four Corners or in Bryce or with us in Enterprise. All three are considered to have been at the Utah, at the 74 gathering, because the radio and the cops and different things had it. That's where.
So what led to that?
As a result of Utah, you heard from then on Rap 107, which was, you know, the very first thing was ignore all rumors. As a result of Utah, so in that sense, coming into it at its low ebb was. So here they are. There's like probably 200 or 300 people now in this position of being so mad that they've decided, since the cops are about 50 or 100 feet apart, or 100 yards apart, they're just going to bloody well do the Grateful Dead run around the left flank and the rest of them, well, get these guys trapped over here and everybody else goes in the water over there. And of course, you know, there's no Shantasina. I mean, if there is, it's just because you're a warrior and you know that you've been in crowds where people were goofy before, and you just, you know, you just don't want to see it, and you know that this presence of the law out there is just waiting, and this is a nebulous organization. It's only the second or third gathering that they've had. So there's a whole lot of different levels upon which, even when you're taking psychedelics, I was already over 30 years old, you get what I'm saying, so I had some feelings about crowds and stuff. So I find out that Medicine Story has gotten a group of about maybe 90 or 100 people in a big circle, and they've been praying and oming that the rains will come. Now, there isn't a cloud in southern Utah the size of a Volkswagen in the sky, maybe every 200 miles or something. It's like one of them days. But nevertheless, they're out there, and I thought that was pretty gutsy, you know what I mean? Just to sit there in the hot sun and stuff, and then. But here on the hills, where everybody's got these little caves and stuff, and is the what would now be called maybe the main circle area, and it has a lot of daytime floppies and nighttime fallouts and those kind of, and they're there and it's hot and you can't, nobody's burning a fire for any reason for heat, but they're burning it to keep water because people are sick and they got to have herb teas and they got to make compresses for these people and stuff. So there's a fire that's even hotter than the hot, it's just an irritating thing, but it's got to be there, and they're grumbling, man, and I'm tripping. Geez, wow, man. And I'm listening to these guys and these women, and they're like, it's suddenly got the resonance of like baboons, or like a whole family or village of chimpanzees or something. They're all like rattling together. Let's go to the water. Let's go to the water. Let's go to the water. And two women from Tucson come up to me and say, "Michael, you got to do your prayers, man." I said, "Right here?" I've only done, them a few times with a few women in different places where I've lived, just because they wondered what I got up and did facing the sun in the mornings, before I went to sleep. So there wasn't any, I sort of got dragged into sharing my personal sadhana with this crowd of, let's go to fucking water. But they convinced me that if 4 of them, women that I knew from Tucson, sat in 4 corners, bye-bye, where are you headed? Take care. That if they could ground, if I would just sit in the center and do my prayers out loud. So I decided I would face all these caves where these people were nattering and screaming about it, and I just started them all above here is sacred, all below here is all to the north and the south, east and west. They're all around us. Here, there, and everywhere. Each and every moment is sacred. My prayers were then maybe 20 minutes of prayer, affirmations and stuff, 60 minutes of mantra, and another 60 minutes of breathing, just, that sort of thing. It's now down to about an hour and 15 minutes of a combined words and breathing thing that people ask me to do, and I do it at gatherings and often do among cracking backs and other things that what someone would say if I was in India would be what, Ganja Babas or Ganja Sadhus do with their hands. I'd probably be nude, have one mala and a big chain, and a chillum in the other hand, and this, incredible look in my face of, you got the hash?
Boom, shake all of that.
That's for all my Indian friends, and they'll think the camera was reversed because you never put your left hand in the film, but I do that a lot.
Oh, you never put your left hand in your jaw.
You
Put it on the right hand.
You convert us lefties to being righties, right?
Well, no, they use this as being you clean your genitals and all that.
Yeah.
Left hand.
Well, I think we ought to go back to that way of cleaning.
And perhaps on that-
instead of burning trees and
Yeah,
well, fuel to get tissue to people so they can wipe their ass.
very true.